You carried a letter to the Prime Minister imploring for full statehood to Jammu Kashmir. How hopeful are you of getting that?
Well, my hope, my expectation is based purely on the promises and the commitments made by Government of India, by the Prime Minister, by the Home Minister, by the Defence Minister, other senior ministers, both when they have been campaigning in Jammu and Kashmir, on the floor of the House in the Parliament, and also during the legal sort of challenge to the 370 writing down. The commitment which was made on behalf of Government of India in front of the Honourable Supreme Court that statehood to Jammu and Kashmir will be restored. The Supreme Court said that it must be restored as soon as possible. Now, as soon as possible, it's been 1 year and 2 days since the judgment of the Supreme Court was issued. It came, if I'm not mistaken, on the 11th of December last year. Is long enough for as soon as possible to materialize.
Yeah. Until the statehood is granted, you are the head of a sort of a hybrid government. So it's not a complete control over the state that you would have wished for. What is it like to be the head of a hybrid government where you're sharing power with the LG?
Well, it's a learning experience. It's very different to the government I had the opportunity of heading for 6 years. It has taken sort of a change of mindset to realize that there are simply some things that you could have done earlier that you can't do now. That said, I believe that the transition for us, the elected government, has been easier than it has for some of the others in the government. I think some of the other people who were in government before the elected government took office have found the transition a little bit more difficult to navigate.
Okay. Tell us a little bit more about how the governance works in this kind of a situation where you have got lots of files. Which one goes to the LG, which one comes to you? How do you decide and how do you work it out?
Well, actually, it should be pretty clear. The Lieutenant Governor is responsible for police, security, law and order. Everything else is the responsibility of the elected government. So finance, planning, development, social welfare, all that is our responsibility. Then within the sort of division of powers, the central services, the Indian Administrative Service, Police Service, Foreign Service, but I believe surprisingly not the IRS, not the Revenue Service. They are the responsibility or the domain of the Lieutenant Governor. The J&K Administrative Services are ours. Now, on the face of it, it actually should be pretty easy to get this to work. But in reality, there have been the odd stumbling block that has popped up.
Would you like to elaborate on the stumbling blocks?
Well, it's actually work in progress, so we'll save it for a time when it gets resolved. We're also in the process of looking at the business rules so that they are clarified because they were obviously put down on paper at a time when you didn't have an elected government, and therefore there was no practical implications to what was being written. We are now in the process of having those re-examined just so that there can be clarity as to where our responsibility ends and where the responsibility of the Lieutenant Governor begins.
Right. It's still early days. It's just been a couple of months.
Well, I think we're only just completing 2 months.
Yeah.